Hello everyone, welcome back to the Strike Point Media channel. Please subscribe and like my videos because today's story is one that has shocked military analysts, stunned observers around the world, and left commanders scratching their heads. Imagine a battlefield where silence is broken not by tanks rolling across the landscape, but by the buzzing of drones and the roaring of 200 motorbikes charging forward in a daring maneuver that no one expected. This was not just an ordinary raid, it was a strike that combined technology and mobility in a way rarely seen in modern warfare. Ukrainian forces unleashed swarms of drones and a fleet of fast-moving motorbikes in a surprise attack on 50 Russian tanks, and what happened next has become the talk of every strategist and journalist. This story is more than just explosions and fire. It is about innovation, courage, and the ability to adapt in the most brutal of conflicts. From the outside, or what we can call the exterior, the operation looked like a perfect storm brewing on the horizon. Ukrainian commanders decided that a conventional tank-on-tank battle would not serve them well. Instead of matching Russia's heavy armor with their own, they designed an exterior battlefield vision built around mobility and surprise. The exterior view was hundreds of bikes lined up in dusty fields, engines revving, soldiers strapped with lightweight anti-tank weapons, and above them, drones already circling like hawks searching for prey. The tanks they targeted looked powerful and intimidating, hulking metal beasts positioned with dominance, but the exterior of their formation was flawed. They were exposed in open ground, a seemingly safe area behind defensive lines. What no one on the Russian side expected was the combination of drones that could spot every move from above and motorbikes that could close distances in seconds. The exterior scene of the strike was breathtaking: dust clouds rising, drones diving, tanks burning, and bike units weaving through fire and debris with agility tanks could never dream of matching. When we move into the interior side of this operation, things become even more fascinating. Inside the Ukrainian strategy room, the planning was bold and almost cinematic in its scope. The interior planning involved detailed coordination between drone operators and bikers, secure communications, rapid response units, and contingency paths for escape. The interior thought process was big, far bigger than anyone imagined Ukraine could pull off at this scale. Inside the cockpits of drones, operators sat with intense focus, watching live feeds of tank positions, relaying coordinates in real time. Inside the helmets of bikers, adrenaline surged as they carried rocket-propelled grenades and anti-tank guided missiles strapped to their backs. The interior was not just about machinery, but about human will, the daring courage of soldiers who believed they could take on tanks with speed and precision. Big risks were taken, but inside that plan was also a big sense of unity, big coordination, and a big belief that surprise and speed could overcome steel and firepower. Performance was the next decisive factor, and here the Ukrainian forces showed just how powerful a mix of modern technology and unconventional tactics can be. Performance was measured in speed, accuracy, and the devastating effect on enemy armor. The drones performed brilliantly, hovering at different altitudes, marking targets with infrared, and dropping small but precise explosives on tank turrets to disable optics and confuse the crews. At the same time, performance on the ground by bikers was almost unmatched. In the time it took a Russian tank to adjust its turret, a motorbike unit could close a distance of hundreds of meters, fire off an anti-tank round, and disappear behind terrain or smoke. The tank's performance, on the other hand, was clumsy and outdated against this style of warfare. Designed to fight other tanks or infantry in trenches, they were simply not built to deal with agile bikes and swarms of drones. Ukrainian performance overwhelmed Russian armor, showing that adaptability can defeat even the most expensive hardware. Safety features in this strike were unconventional but critical. For the bikers, safety meant speed and maneuverability. Motorbikes do not have armor like tanks, but their safety feature lies in not being where the enemy expects them to be. Speed allowed them to dodge artillery fire and reposition rapidly. For the drones, safety came from operating high above the battlefield, out of range for most small arms. Operators controlled them from safe distances, making the human element untouchable by tank fire. Safety also came from coordination. The more the units worked together, the less chance any one soldier would be exposed. Even evacuation plans were a kind of safety feature. Bikers had mapped out exit routes in case they were pursued. This meant the entire operation reduced risks while maximizing impact, proving that safety doesn't always come from heavy armor but from smart design and quick decision-making. What truly made this operation stand out were the unique selling points, the aspects that no other army has combined at such scale in this war. The first unique point was the marriage of drones and bikes, two low-cost tools used in a high-impact way. Drones acted as the eyes, bikes as the fists, and together they struck with shocking precision. Another unique point was cost-effectiveness. Compared to a tank worth several $1 million, a motorbike and a drone are inexpensive, yet they managed to neutralize machines far more costly. Flexibility was another unique factor. Bikers could change direction, target, or strategy within seconds, something a tank crew could never hope to match. Finally, psychological warfare was a unique element. For Russian soldiers, watching their supposedly invincible tanks get destroyed by motorbikes and buzzing drones was demoralizing in a way that heavy artillery could never achieve. It showed that the Ukrainian side could innovate, adapt, and fight in ways that were not predictable. When analysts talk about price in war, they are not only speaking about money but also about the human and strategic cost. Financially, the price of this Ukrainian strike was remarkably low. The combined cost of bikes, drones, and portable weapons is a fraction of the value of 50 Russian tanks. Strategically, the price Russia paid was massive. Losing that many tanks in a single coordinated strike means years of military investment destroyed in minutes. The price also comes in morale. Russian troops felt the cost in fear and shaken confidence, while Ukrainian forces gained momentum and belief. On the human side, the price of courage was paid by the bikers and drone operators who risked their lives, but the calculated approach kept casualties far lower than anyone anticipated. In the cold calculation of war, this was a price Ukraine could afford, but one Russia could not ignore. In conclusion, this strike was not just about explosions or destroyed tanks. It was about the shifting face of modern warfare. Ukraine demonstrated that war is no longer only about who has the biggest guns or the heaviest armor. It is about who can think differently, who can use agility against brute force, and who can combine small tools into a big strategy. The exterior of the battlefield showed dust and fire, the interior of the plan revealed courage and precision, the performance highlighted agility and speed, the safety came from clever design, the unique selling points were innovation and psychology, and the price revealed how cost-effective adaptability can be against raw power. This was more than a strike, it was a statement to the world that Ukraine is not just fighting to survive but rewriting the rules of war. For Russia, it was a brutal reminder that old strategies can be shattered by new ideas. And for everyone watching, it was proof that even in the darkest conflicts, innovation shines as the most powerful weapon of all.